believe that anybody in America can start their own.
Wow, that's slow music. How am I going to follow that? Well, you reached Lesko Free Radio again. And, the next hour, man, we're going to teach you so much stuff. I got two fellas in the green room where it's black or something, brown, whatever the room is back there. We hold a rodeo back there to entertain them until they come out here. So I don't know if we'll ever get them out here. But they're terrific. We're going to inspire you today to take any problem in your neighborhood, man, and get that solved, man. You could do it. I mean, the average person could do it. And this is what they're going to talk about. And we got so many things. We're going to talk about the fiscal cliff. Jumping off the cliff, what are you going to do? How's that going to affect the rest of the world? Is that going to affect you getting government money to do something? We're going to talk about that. But first, we got lots of stuff to do. Watch this.
I believe that anybody in America could start their own business right on their kitchen table with little or no money. See, anything you're going to do in life is going to take a lot of work. But if you really find something you really, really want to do and you learn how to use the system, you'll get over any obstacle. You could start a business on your kitchen table because I'll show you unbelievable government programs that help you write a business plan, apply for a grant, get a government contract, or give you free legal, marketing, and tax advice. There are no guarantees in life. But I can guarantee that the government wants you to start a business because 64% of all the jobs in this country come from small businesses. And 73% of all businesses in this country are small enough to start on your kitchen table. So don't give up your dream. Let me show you how the government will help you start a business right on your kitchen table.
Well, first we're going to talk to Shane Shepard. Now, he's the iGrant guy. He's got an iGrant app. You go to iGrantApp.com, and you see his little app. It's like $1.50, $2 or something like that. And it has copies of completed applications and everything. Now, in the past couple of weeks, he told us some great programs. One about, last week he told you about how the government will come and, if you have problems with your house, they'll come and tear it down and build you a brand new one and let you keep it as long as you say you'll stay there and live for 5 years. Now, what a deal, man. Or another program where they have that he took advantage of, too, and he could show you the applications, where he got 20 people to come and work for his nonprofit organization for free. The government paid them. I mean, they're not free volunteers. They get paid, but he didn't have to. And actually, one of those volunteers also got him like $250,000, to do other stuff, while he was there. Well, today, we got a new thing, particularly now with all the immigration problems. We're talking about changing the laws. Shane's going to talk about a neat program for immigrant entrepreneurs. What's it called, Shane?
Well, the program is called EB5. And it was created back in 1990, and basically what it is to help immigrants get their legalization here in America. If they invest so much money in a business, it helps them buy a permanent green card.
Ah, so you can always buy your way in, huh?
Yes, that's right. Well, so for most cases, it's $500,000 they have to create 10 American jobs. And what that money goes towards is a business in America that usually gets some sort of equity, and then that money is slowly returned back to the investor, and then they get the green card. So it's a pretty good program for businesses trying to get some more investment, as well as the person trying to get legalization.
Wow. Huh. So in other words, if you're trying to get in the country and you got $500,000 or could find investors, to do this, you could bring that $500,000 in, get a green card, and that's only like temporary initially for like 2 years or something like that?
It is, yeah, it is.
And then if you hire people for 2 years, 10 of them, then you get a permanent one, right? Forever.
Right, yeah. I mean, the 10 people have stayed slated for 3 to 5 years. And then it's kind of like a loan, but they get equity, but the business pays it back. It's usually a 3 to 5% interest loan, and they pay it back. And then, so it helps out the business as well as the people trying to immigrate.
Yeah, well,
and a lot of times what will happen is that there's these things called regional centers that they work with people in other countries trying to come over, and they'll pool their money together. So there
I
might
see.
be, for instance, like a $100 million project. It's a huge business.
Well,
And so multiple immigrants can buy their green cards through this project.
wow. So you could find 5 immigrants with $100,000 apiece and put together a deal?
Right. Uh-huh.
And they could
Right.
each get start with a temporary green card?
Yes.
Wow.
Yeah, and
So-
then if it goes good for 5 years, 3 to 5 years, they
Yeah.
become a permanent green card.
Now, so then does that make you, how low could this get? Can we get 1,000 of them at $1 a piece or something?
Maybe so. Well, so something that's also interesting about this is that the money has to be at risk, which means that
Yeah.
whenever they invest their $500,000 or whatever it may be,
Yeah.
There's no collateral and there's no guarantee that it's coming back to them.
I see,
The
right.
primary is for them to get a green card, and then they hope to get their money back, but that's not the primary interest of it.
Now, also, Shane, I see that it's the CMBs, these closed military base regional centers. Are they a place to make this easier, this process?
Right. So the process it can be pretty darn complex, honestly.
Uh-huh.
And then the CMB, I believe there might be a website there. But the CMB, what they'll do is you call them up, they'll talk to you for free. It doesn't cost you anything if you have an idea that you need some investment in.
Uh-huh.
And they'll talk to you, and if they believe it's a good idea that's going to work out for what they're trying to do and what you're trying to do, they'll pitch it to their investors in other countries.
Wow. So this is one of these regional centers could help you through the whole process, and they don't charge you anything extra because they're getting sort of like the employment in the area. Is that correct?
Right. And what and also the investor has to pay something.
Right.
So,
right.
so the foreign investor, that's where they'll get their money is on the other side of things.
Right. Well, this is terrific. Yeah, and you're working with some groups now with this?
Yeah, I am. We actually have a downtown building where I work at that some people from Korea came in, and they're dropping about $500,000 on redeveloping an old building that's in disrepair right now.
Wow. That's terrific. Well, wonderful. now, we need people from all over doing stuff, don't we? That create jobs, create new ideas. And this is a program, I guess, for people overseas to come here and make us better too, right?
That's correct, yeah.
Yeah. Well, Shane, wonderful. Well, you think about anything for next week yet?
Well, I tell you what, why don't we talk about economic development corporations? Most cities have them, and a lot of people are not aware of what they can do for them.
What
and
kind
these
of
guys can help out an individual all the way up to a small business to a larger business. And the money is really flexible. It's just a matter of making a one specific contact in each city. And then you might find that there's some local grants for different things.
Local grants. Well, that sounds good. Anytime you're talking about free money, we like that. Okay, and Shane's is iGrantApp.com. Shane, thank you so much.
Right.
Thanks for doing all the work out there and letting people know about this, okay?
Thank you, Matthew.
Okay, take care. Lesko Free Radio. I hope you enjoy this show because I enjoy doing it. And if you want to learn how to start using these programs, listen, I set up a free webpage called UncleLesko.com. You can go there right now and download the 5 best grants just for your state. So that's UncleLesko.com. Go there now, get the 5 best grants for your state, and start taking advantage of the stuff now. You know why? Because it's free. Also, we're going to take your calls later on the show and answer your questions. We'll answer anything. Man, I could show you a source of money and free help to do almost anything you want to do in life. So what you do is you call 202-643-9006. That's 202-643-9006. And if you don't get through for some reason or the show time runs out, you can always email. Boop, did I say that right? Email me at letsgofreeradio@gmail.com. That's letsgofreeradio@gmail.com. So we want to answer your questions. So call or write. Oh, please. Yeah, the headphones are in case you can't hear me. You can be out in the street and open the windows and probably hear me. Well, ladies and gentlemen, we got 2 special guests today, and it's really exciting to me anyway that we have 2 very prominent men in the community here who really take their time to try to make their surroundings better. You know, I mean, it's so easy to talk about doing that. We all say we do it, but there's very few actually get off their butt and do something. And what they've been doing for years, what I hope can inspire the rest of us, because I get lazy too. You know, it's so easy to do nothing. And there's so many problems. It's easier to sit in front of the TV and bitch and complain about everything out there instead of actually doing something. And these two guys do it. Okay, the one is Rick McLean. Okay, the gentleman on the far end, and he's with an organization called Project Give Back. Why don't you put up their slide, Eric, for Project Give Back? We got their website there. There it is. Okay, so you want to go find out more about them? ProjectGiveback.org. Okay. And they're outside of Washington, D.C., or inside Washington, D.C. And the other fellow to my left here, and to Rick's right, is Joe Briggs. Now, he's with another organization. We get that slide. There it is. It's called Impact. But it's really, the website is impact-dc.com. And this is a pretty slick website, Joe. I don't know. Thank you. You got some high power there. And actually, I was telling them easier, too. You go through the people. Man, everybody dresses to the nines and involved in this. I want to be part of this impact. I want to go shopping with all these people. You know, they're just terrific. But both you guys, really, this is not your full-time gig at all. This is something that you just do as a citizen, Rick, right?
Yes. Yes, it's the founder of this organization is Ransom Miller. I'm sitting in for him today. Project Give Back, this is our 19th year. And,
wow, 19
years coming this year. And,
so you start when you were 12 or something?
Yes.
Yeah, I see. Right?
So we, Project Give Back is an organization that really impact this community, and that's the drive of the mission. And have full-time jobs.
Yeah, full-time jobs otherwise.
Full-time jobs. And Project Give Back is a full-time job, 365 days.
I mean, for you also, so you have two full-time jobs.
2 full-time jobs.
Which one are you getting paid at?
The first one.
How about you, Joe? How is Impact doing?
So Impact's doing well. You know, we're in our 7th year. We're in our 7th year. Started in 2006 here in Washington, D.C. Around 3 core principles: civic engagement, economic empowerment, and political involvement. We've been doing the work of making sure that young professionals are able to not only be at the table, but also be knowledgeable about what they should be at the table to talk about. So it's been a great.
You mean young professionals? So young up-and-coming people to be smart about what's going on?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Folks like you.
Young guy.
Young professionals that are passionate about
man.
Serving their community, trying to make sure that they're well-informed and hosting events so that they can make sure that they not only are well-informed but also connected with the folks that can make things happen.
I see. So it is a networking kind of thing, too.
It's a networking thing, too.
Do you feel that with your group, too, Rick?
Yes. We have a major volunteer base during our Thanksgiving food drive.
Oh, the food. Oh, let me show a video. I have a little video of that. Okay. Let's show the first video here if we get the right one. Eric, you see the video project?
Right, joining me now live to talk more about this is the founder of Project Give Back. It's Ransom Miller. Thanks for being with us this morning, Ransom. It's a great show of people you got out.
Yes, it is. We're very blessed to have hundreds, approximately 400 volunteers came out today. We're very excited. KPMG, my sponsor company, gave Project Give Back the opportunity to serve as its fall outreach program. So all of their representatives came. Refuge Baptist Assembly sent hundreds of volunteers to come out and join us in this wonderful event.
And Howard University students too, correct?
Howard University sent 3 buses of students to come over and volunteer, and they've done an outstanding job.
Tell me how all this started with you. Why did you decide to do this?
Well, several years ago, 12 years ago, we sat together in a lunchroom and we talked about something to do for the holiday. And this is what we came up with. And we did 6 families the first year, and now we're doing 350.
How does it make you feel to do this?
It feels wonderful. There's such a need in this community for outreach and opportunities to give back. And you see by the amount of volunteers that came out to support us this morning that people want to give back during this time of year.
Ransom Miller, thanks a lot for joining us live this morning. And this is not over. Deliveries are still going on. Will be going on till about noon. They're doing a great thing out here.
6 guys, or you came the next year, huh?
Yes, I came the next year after this. It's right now, 2012. delivered over 1,000 baskets.
Wow!
Far as Baltimore to Portsmouth, Virginia, the whole metropolitan D.C. area. Project Give Back is really moving.
And you started just with, you did 6 people the first year. So you
6
had to
people.
start somewhere, right?
Yes, 6 people.
And you just keep going. Wow.
Yep, 1,000 families just passed this year.
Well, I got a little video on you too.
Okay.
Joe's
I'm excited
video.
to see what the video is.
Yeah. Go to the tape. This is like Highlight Sports or something. All
Let's
right.
go to the tape.
Yeah, right.
And joining me now live
No,
to
that's
talk.
the other. There we go. That one.
On today's Dr. King's Day of Service, Impact is at Burrville Elementary School in Northeast DC, doing a variety of projects, all designed to help teach the babies. Some of us are cleaning classrooms, some of us are organizing classrooms and supplies, and others are just making sure that the babies have fun. You guys just missed it, but Impact Director Angela Rye was being schooled by these 3 young ladies who are like hula hoop champions. Like, they doing stuff that ain't nobody else can do. This right here, goddamn, look, they up here raising their hands, they doing Simon Says. Sometimes the babies teach us. All of this to say that on some days, especially today, we have to do what we can to give back. Today, this is what we're doing. What are you going to do to impact your world?
And that's what it is. We're trying to make sure that we have an impact on our world every day.
Yeah. I mean, that must make you feel good when you see stuff like that.
It makes me feel excellent. But also, I must pause and say that I've also been a volunteer for Project Give Back. So it's not just about Impact and Project Give Back being 2 separate organizations. Yes. Impact supports Project Give Back 100%.
Really?
So we try to make sure that we send messages out to our newsletter database to get folks to volunteer for Project Give Back and other things here in the Washington, D.C. area.
So do you feel that, I mean, when you're talking about it, because I met you guys earlier at all, that it seems like a lot of this, and looking at your site particularly, Joe, is that a lot of this is this networking that happens. I mean, it seems like you guys inspire each other. I mean, you just looking at that fellow talking about, I mean, he's throwing his soul out there, you know, when he's talking about that stuff. I mean, where else? I mean, if you're a stockbroker, do you get a chance to feel that?
Well, the crazy part about it is that through Impact, we have stockbrokers that come out and make them feel that way by connecting them with folks like the great people at Project Give Back. Yeah. We try to make sure that everybody has an opportunity to touch their community and be a part of their community, regardless of what they do in their day job and their 9 to 5. They live here, they work here, they pay taxes here, and we want them to make sure that the rest of the community members that they see every day are as enhanced as they are with the work that they're doing in our community.
Well, what stops? I mean, like when you said 7 years ago you started this?
Yes, sir.
You got out of Tallahassee and
Tallahassee,
came up here.
Florida
Did
State,
you have
go
a
Noles.
network already in town? You just called all your buddies and say, "Hey, let's do something good and fun," or how did you do this?
The crazy part about it, I moved to Washington D.C., didn't know anybody. Actually found my apartment on Craigslist and moved up here without a place
I'm looking at your
to stay.
website, man. You got people, all your friends work in the White House now.
Well, so that's the progress that you've seen between the last 7 years. When I moved up here, knowing nobody with just my stuff in the back of my car, to now having friends that work at the White House. I'm still the same guy that I was when I moved up here in 2006. And thanks to guys like Ransom and Rick, I've been able to develop a network of people here in Washington, D.C. Rick's a native Washingtonian, so I'm probably going to lean on him more.
So is Wendy, my wife over there. There's 2 now. So you came up here not knowing anybody.
I came up here not knowing anybody, and then I saw a need, an area of need that I thought I could fill. Worked together with my great friend Angela Rye, who you've probably seen on MSNBC, doing a lot of commentating on various issues, including the sequester. I think I heard you say that you're going to talk about later on in the program. So we saw the fact that there was this thing. You would go to a reception here in Washington D.C. There would be older people in the room and younger people in the room, and the younger people would kind of be standing in the back of the room like at the kiddie table.
I see.
So as one of those younger people in the room, I said there has to be some way that we can get all these younger people together so that we can talk about the issues that pertain to us, and how can we make sure that our voice is heard as it relates to issues such as the sequester, such as the fiscal cliff, such as actually back then it was education policy. Everybody in the room had student loans, but nobody was talking about what the policies were around student loans and how we could perhaps get some more grace as it related to us moving past our college years into our later years of working. So Impact's been very successful over the last 7 years, and hopefully you'll have a chance to even follow us on Twitter at Team Impact, or visit the website so you can see the great work that we're doing.
And Rick, if you started something like this today, from what you know, I mean, what would you tell somebody out there? Hey, I'd love to help people. I just don't know how the hell.
If someone wanted to start a foundation like Impact or Project Give Back, if that's what's in your heart and your mind, and this was on your heart to start a community organization like this, if that's what you want to do it. Don't procrastinate in it. Just go get it and start to put your ideas on paper and start to say, and get a name for your organization and put those things in place. Because one thing about it, if you look at that Project Give Back 19 years later now, we was right here where you at now. So you got to start somewhere. You got to be able to collectively get some friends together and say some people, because everyone knows someone that can help you along the way. Project Give Back, if you need to have a sit down with us, Impact, we open to help more friends, more people, because it's going to take all of us to impact this community. And Project Give Back is really open to that, because
you mean you help other people start something?
Helping people, showing them the way, and because someone showed us the way.
The word foundation is daunting. I don't want to be a foundation. It sounds like a big building I got to screw around with or something.
Right. But, the key to what Rick is saying and what you've said as well is that everybody has to give a little bit. Rick and I both have day jobs. This is the stuff that we do when we're done doing our 9-to-5 jobs. We have to give a little bit of ourselves.
What
a little
gives
bit
you
of
the
that
energy to do that, though?
The thing that gives me the energy to do that is you saw the video that we just showed. And it had those young ladies that were at Burville Elementary School. Right. Seeing the smiles on their faces after we had gone in and cleaned up their school, painted the walls, reorganized the classroom so that the teachers could think about just teaching them the lessons and helping them break through their educational goals. That's what makes me inspired to do more work with Impact. So after I get off my 9-to-5,
that makes you not lazy.
That makes me not lazy.
If you didn't have that, you'd come home from a day of work. Oh shit! I'll just sit here and have a beer.
Exactly. So that makes me want to go out and put on my suit with question marks all over it, so that I can go out and affect my community.
Wow. Huh.
And to piggyback on what Joe was saying, and it's probably about 13 years ago. What drives me to continue to do Project Give Back, went to a family's house over in Southeast, and of grandfather was raising 2 sons. Never knew who put his name down on the list for a food basket. Had some young private school basketball players delivering the baskets with me, and they went in. He was raising 2 grandsons, didn't have anything in the refrigerator.
Wow.
So when this basket come that he don't know who put his name down, with enough food for 2 weeks, not just Thanksgiving, enough food for 2 weeks, breakfast, lunch, and dinner. That's the impact, just to see a grandfather struggling to raise his grandson, his grandsons, and Project Give Back helping him out. And that's to see the smiles on their face, and they have something to eat, not just Thanksgiving Day, because majority of people can find somewhere to eat on Thanksgiving Day, but what are they going to eat before Thanksgiving or after Thanksgiving? So that drives me and drives Ransom to continue to move, and I'll go right now. We starting 1,500 families this year. That's how I'll go.
1,500 from 6?
Yep, to 1,500 this year.
Wow.
And so that's doing the process, working every day. We still have to find ways to meet and make this vision, because once this vision is here now, and people depending on it and leaning on it. So we have to take it to the people.
Well, now, what's interesting to me, what you're talking about, is it's not an extra job that depletes energy. It's an extra activity that gives you energy.
Correct.
And who would think of that? I mean, when you're doing something extra, I'm going to work part-time or do something. Oh, man, I'm doing so much already. But here, this is food, you're saying.
Exactly. It feeds the soul, and that piece of your soul that gets fed by you doing the great work in the community and seeing the smiles on these little kids' face, it helps you not only build up the motivation to go out and do it yourself, but also to talk to other people and try to help them experience that same great feeling that it is to go out and serve the community.
And how about in your main work? I mean, how do you see it? What do you bring from that to your day jobs kind of thing?
So what I bring from Impact to my day job is I work with a lot of young men in my day job as well. So the things that I try to bring from my work with Impact to my day job is perfecting how I can help them get better, right? Like, because I'm out doing this work in the community, I can then make suggestions to these young men on how they can also go out into their communities. And hopefully I have a spiderweb effect where not only is my work affecting my community, but their work is affecting their community. And before long, before you know it, there's this whole global effect happening of all these young men doing the great work that they can in their community.
Well, I mean, as you talk about this, I would say if you go out and do this kind of work that you guys are doing, you know, and feel that humanity coming back, you go to your day jobs, I would think you start looking at those people you didn't like at work a little differently.
Oh, yes.
I mean, you see them a little more human, maybe.
I mean, in my day job, I'm in the IT field. I'm a network administrator in a big company, and so I reach and teach everyone there. I'm interactive in the IT field. So with Project Give Back, basically just talking to them and encouraging them and letting them know that things will get better. You know, reach out to your community and sharing somehow core values with them to help impact their daily lives. And that's what helped me with my coworkers, because one thing about it, if we can do this together, it's going to be a better place. And that's what Project Give Back drives, and that's what I tell my coworkers. You know, we're thankful that we can help someone. But
so, I mean, I always feel in life that the most selfish thing to do is to give, because it feels so great. So because it feels so great,
that's a great way to look
it's so
at it.
selfish.
Yeah.
It's finding some deserving bastard to give to.
Well, you know, my day job, I'm a lawyer, right? So most people, you know, the famous Shakespeare quote, how do you make a good start? You start with all the lawyers at the bottom of the ocean. But I think that by becoming an advocate of the people, I'm able to help folks not only get past whatever their situation is, but help folks figure out how to become advocates themselves for other people that may be in similar situations. So I take the work that I do with Impact and with Team Impact, my great squad of folks, including Sarah and Nina, Angela, Rye, who I mentioned earlier.
This is a Academy Award speech. I think.
All the great people in Team Impact that are doing great work. I try to make sure that I'm just one piece of the wheel that's also teaching people how to advocate for themselves.
And now, how does someone start? Okay, I mean, you guys are inspiring. Okay, I'm still sitting on my chair at home, hating the job I got to go to on Monday. And what the hell do I do? I mean, how does it take a lot of my own money to do something like this? I mean,
you know, it didn't really take a lot of our own money to start Impact, but it did take some. But most of all, what it took was sweat equity. Right. Like, so we started Impact in July of 2006. We were sitting in a restaurant. Angela Rye, David Johns, Simhar Araya, and Adria Crutchfield sitting at a restaurant in Silver Spring, Maryland, trying to figure out how we can solve this problem with the young people not being as involved and not being as engaged as they could be. And as we were sitting there having brunch, we said, okay, we can either stay here talking about this while we're sitting here enjoying these eggs and waffles, or we could get up and we could do something.
What was your first project?
The first project that we did was a networking reception that happened in 2006. It was
You threw a party.
We threw a party. And that was the first thing we did. Everybody likes having a party, right? So we threw a party trying to get all the people to come in and understand that this new organization existed. And they came. Right. So within 2 months of us starting Impact, we threw a party. Over 600 people came to an event that we did here in Washington, D.C. And from that point on, we haven't looked back.
So Rick, if I was somewhere out in Colorado or something and wanted to do turkeys on Thanksgiving or food like that, so would this be a good model maybe to, hey, well, I'll get my buddies together at a party and we'll figure out how to do this next Thanksgiving?
Yes, it's a good model to start. Global, we started in down in Portsmouth, Virginia, and just basically reaching out to some of my friends, and they was like, Rick, we know you doing this big project in D.C. area. How can we bring it to Portsmouth?
Oh, I see.
I was like, okay, we make contacts with Walmart in Portsmouth. We don't have a headquarters there. You reach out to families that's in need, and we'll send a list to you. And we'll see what all the items that we have here, we're going to make sure those families have the same items. And that's how we impact 10 families in Portsmouth, Virginia.
So no way. So somebody in Portsmouth said, hey, I want to do what you're doing in D.C. And they called Walmart. Now, how does Walmart
No. I would call Walmart to find a food vendor in
I
their
see.
area.
Okay. Oh,
I would call
see.
the food vendor.
Because you're here,
Yes.
you know the system.
Yes.
So someone could call you, and they could be in New Jersey and want to do this.
Yes,
and
so
you
we-
can help them do this.
So
huh?
basically,
Well,
once
now
we,
you're talking, man.
once we get the
Yeah.
cake has already been made. Now we just got to show them
Yeah.
how to make the cake over and over. So
I
the
see,
thing
yeah.
is that in Portsmouth, we basically had a couple of my friends there. They said, Rick, we need to impact this community the same way.
Yeah.
So basically, show them the model. This is what we do. We find the families and we deliver the food. Project Give Back is one of the only organizations in this metropolitan area
Yeah.
that takes the food to the people.
So in other
Everyone
words,
else-
you're saying the guy in New Jersey could get a franchise from you.
Yes, yes, he can.
And it doesn't cost him anything. You
Don't
just
cost
show him
him
the
anything.
skills.
Yep,
Right.
don't cost him
And he
anything.
gets his buddies. You help him arrange where
Yeah,
to
help
get the
him arrange
food
it.
and all that
He-
kind of stuff.
right.
So you're going to do everything for them.
Yes.
The guy doesn't have to know anything. Right?
He don't have to know anything, and basically
And
just
just have
trying
some
to
friends.
get his foundation name. He can
He doesn't need that though, does
he don't need that.
No,
he don't
nothing.
need a foundation unless he
Yeah.
want to move into his own thing
Yeah,
and something
right.
different.
But until then, he could just use you.
Use his
Yeah,
will
yeah.
right here.
Yeah,
So this
and-
is a good
because
model.
you have the contact. So why the heck would he want to?
Yes,
so,
correct.
Wow. Well, now that's cool.
So, and one of the ways that Impact supports it is by when we throw, a reception, one of our main core events, we would take down everybody's contact information and offer to reach out to them when we hear about projects like Project
Yeah.
Give Back. So we'll take all the contact information down, and then when people like Ransom and the folks at Project Give Back reach out to us and say, hey, we have an event that's happening in this part of the country. Can you tap into your newsletter listserv? And we have about 60,000 people on our newsletter listserv right now. Can you tap into your newsletter listserv, segment the people out, send out a message so that we can get volunteers to come out to our event? We'll do
Somewhere
that
else,
on behalf.
yeah.
We'll
I
do
see.
that on behalf of organizations
I
like
see.
Project Give
Right.
Back and other organizations. Impact has been very successful in figuring out how to
I
reach out
see.
to the population that we care about and the population that care about.
So
the
you're
same
getting like
issues
the
that
Obama campaign. Huh?
we
You
have-
got all those names, man. People want to give. Yeah.
Yeah, you
So
gotta
no,
do
but
something
what
with the
you're saying,
information.
if I want to do something good in North Dakota or something, you may
Yes.
have folks in your list.
We may have folks in North Dakota.
Exactly. That you
I
could
definitely
send
have
them
folks in
stuff.
Boise, Idaho.
I say, oh, that you could tap into you, and so it'd be getting a hold of Impact and arranging that to happen. So,
Yes.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
and,
so-
and that's the goal, just allowing this thing to happen everywhere.
Yeah.
Because everyone is in need, especially not just during the holidays. We do a Easter egg, and I was just talking to Joe about it coming up on March 30th over in southeast part of DC, and with some kids that didn't grow up with an Easter egg hunt. And I grew up with an Easter egg hunt in Washington, and we did special things. And so bringing that back to the kids for the last 10 years, that's to see their smiles and see them go out and see how many eggs they can get and have a big cookout for them.
Wow.
That's another one. And a toy drive we just passed in Christmas, had a big toy drive and taking the toys. Family had 4 or 5 kids.
So if I want to do something like
Yes.
that somewhere,
Anywhere in the world.
Utah,
Yep.
I got contact you guys. You just set me up on how to help do
we
this.
can make
We'll
it- we
figure
can make it
out. We'll
happen.
figure out a way to make it
Well, I
happen.
mean, that's terrific. Why
figure out
didn't
a
I
way to-
know about this beforehand?
We'll figure out a way to get you off your couch. That's what we'll do.
Oh,
You're not
that's
gonna go
wonderful.
home straight home from work anymore.
Yeah,
So.
I mean, but it's just getting people, because people just don't know what to do. I mean, that's I'm like that. You know, you see a lot of problems, you're frustrated, but how in the heck? And then it's I don't know how, and I'm frustrated. So you're given a cookie cutter, what to do step by step, and even arrange to get the food for people. That you
Yep.
just have to have friends who get in a car and drive it on.
Right. And then we help them get friends in the
Yeah,
cars and
right
drive
on. That's terrific.
Right.
Well, you guys are just terrific. I just well, what kind of work you do? You're in IT, and what kind of lawyer? Are you on the Hill or something? Or what?
No, I'm a union lawyer. I work for a union here in town.
I see. Are there any left?
I tell people all the time, 2 of the biggest events that we have each year have unionized employees. You have the Super Bowl and you have the SAG Awards.
Oh, right.
The Super Bowl has almost 100% participants that are members of unions because the NFL players are members of the
They're all
NFL Players
union.
Association. And then the SAG Awards, well, actually, the SAG Awards are the Screen Actors Guild, which is also a union. I work at a local union here in town, trying to make sure that I protect their working rights, working conditions
good for you.
of folks.
Wendy's an old union Yeah. Gee, farm workers. Now that goes way back.
Oh, wow.
Yes. Real union.
That's
Not
awesome.
football heroes.
Great to see you.
You guys, Tommy, I want to go over some of the scary stuff they're talking about on the sequester and whatever. Show that first slide. Okay, everybody's talking about it. Now, what bothers me about this, and I've been studying government programs for probably 30 years or something, through the Reagan administration, everybody says it's going to go away and all this kind of, and people around the country don't know Washington think, oh, the government's going to disappear next Tuesday, you know, and it's going to all be gone. Listen to, you know, and everybody's crying about what's going to happen, and so I want to give people a little oversight on what's really going on. And so tomorrow when you wake up, no matter what happens to this sequester or the fiscal cliff, the government's going to still be there. There'll be programs to help you. You just got to do some work to find it. Give me the next slide. I'll show you why. Okay, this is how much we're talking about in the sequester a little. So we spend like almost $4 trillion a year. $4 trillion. Man, when I started, it was like $1. Now we're talking about sequester is $85 billion. $85 billion out of $4 trillion. That's like 2%. So that just think if you lost 2% of your income, okay, what's going to happen? You know, get rid of HBO or something like that? Something's going to happen, right? You know, but it's not going to disappear. You're not going to lose your house or whatever, these kinds of things. Show me the next slide. So it's all a function of how much And another thing that people realize, that I've been watching this for years and years, the top line on that, the government, this is from 1980, it grows every year, no matter who's in town. You get the diehard Republicans are going to cut everything in the world, and the Democrats will come in and they say they're going to grow everything, which is, you know, silly too. But it just keeps growing no matter who's in town. So, and then here's the third reason. Show me this next slide there, Eric. This is even more important. We are so hypocritical as a nation. I mean, this is data actually just came out over the weekend from the Pew Research Center on which programs people would cut. Okay, if you go down the list there, you know, from veterans benefits, Social Security, only 10% of the country would agree with cutting Social Security. Only 20% would agree with cutting health care. You know, only 24% would agree with cutting military. Where the hell are they going to cut? So you have all the major programs. That's where all the money is. You know, nobody wants to cut them. Right. So if these politicians who said they're going to cut everything, they're going to be out of work. Yes. Nobody's going to. Everybody wants to do it.
So that's going to be the main question. What are they going to cut?
Exactly. Yeah. I mean, everybody's a blowhard. You know, that's why I'm against waste, fraud, and abuse in the government. They never do anything really of significance. So nothing is really going to change quickly. So if you have problems with some issues, like one of the issues, now we have a lawyer here. Show me the. I don't know if he's going to like this, but show us the next slide. About how much lawyers cost, okay? That's the average lawyer. It's going to cost you like $284 an hour. You know, that's in a small firm. You know, the big firms get bigger. You know, in this town, you have a $600 an hour lawyer, a dime a dozen, right? Yeah. But, you know, to put it back to reality for the folks who probably need lawyers, like a senior citizen has a law problem. Show us the next slide, Eric. The next slide, a lawyer. Okay, there is a law that you got to give legal services for seniors for free.
Right.
Okay, so if you're sitting there with a family, you know, somebody that, you know, is a senior, doesn't, you know, needs a lawyer, and you hear about the sequester, oh, the government's not there, so we can't do anything. Nonsense. You know, you can call this number and get free legal help for any senior. I called it just like 2 days ago to show you it's still there, still working. Run the video, Eric. I'll show you. This is me at home.
Thank you for calling the Elder Care Locator. An information specialist will be with you shortly. Para español, marque el número dos. Your call is important to us and may be monitored and recorded for quality assurance purposes. Please enter your zip code.
Welcome to the Elder Care Locator. My name is Melody. How may I help you? Maybe you can't. Listen, I'm trying to help my mom. She lives down in Vero Beach, Florida, and she needs some legal help. And I was wondering, is there a service, like for seniors for legal advice?
Okay, I can locate a resource in that area. You said she lives in Vero Beach, Florida?
Yes.
Okay, and how did you hear about our service, sir?
Well, I just knew of it somewhere. I don't know where.
Right, okay.
So I searched online for elder care, and I found your 800 number, yeah. But there are, under the, what is it called, the Older Americans Act, there's some kind of legal services, yeah.
Yes. Okay, one of them is called the Florida Senior Legal Helpline.
Uh-huh.
Right, their telephone number is 1-888.
1-888.
895.
895.
7873.
7873. Okay. Is there another one in case?
Just to make you aware, their office is open from 9 to 2, Monday through Friday.
9 to 2, Monday through Friday. Okay.
Right. The other option is through the Florida Department of Elder Affairs.
Uh-huh.
And that's to seek a legal referral for an older adult.
Oh, okay.
All right. And their number is 1-800. 963 5337.
5337. Okay, now the legal referral, so that's a charge service then, wouldn't it be, or what?
Not necessarily. Not necessarily. When you speak with them, you can just say you're looking for free legal referrals for an older adult.
I see. Okay. Because there's some kind of funding for the seniors for legal services,
right.
Is that it?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I see. Well, wonderful. Well, what else what's your normal kind of problems? I never knew you guys existed. What other kind of stuff do you help with?
Well, we just locate programs to help older adults in their state. So it just depends on what a person is looking for. It could be anything from meals to transportation.
So if the mom needed a ride to get to a doctor's appointment, and I live in Arizona, and she's in Florida, I could find like a service that may be able to get her there?
Right. You would contact the Agency on Aging of Palm Beach and Treasure Coast.
All
right. Their number is... And I do have their number.
Okay.
It is 1-866.
1-866.
684.
684.
5885.
5885. Oh, that's great. What any strange kind of service I wouldn't even think about asking about? I mean, like, do you recall, besides transportation or,
no.
The other kind of thing? No.
It's usually the same thing over and over again. Meals, transportation, caregiving, legal help.
So they're the big issues that the seniors have, huh? And so people could call you and find a service or a government program or something like that, a local program that could help with that, huh?
Exactly.
Right. Well, wonderful. Well, thanks for being there.
All right. You're very welcome, sir. Did you want to be connected to one of those resources?
No, I'll give them a call. Thank you.
Okay. You're welcome.
Okay. Bye now.
Bye-bye.
So what do you think, Joe? You worried?
I'm not worried at all. As a bar attorney in the state of Maryland, and actually I went to law school down in the state of Florida, and I know a lot of people in the Florida bar, including my wife, who's a member of the Florida bar, even though she's working here in D.C. Pro bono services was one of the reasons why I got into the field of law, so that we could provide services for free. And I saw the number that you put up earlier, $284 an hour. Right. I don't quite make that much money. But one of the reasons why they charge so much many times at firms is so that they can have a certain number of hours that they can provide free services. Yeah. So the community is getting together even there and paying for the services that they're providing to senior citizens and homeowners that can't do their own bankruptcy work, and even the people who don't have a lawyer that can represent them in court on criminal matters and sometimes civil matters. So great to see that the elder care line is working. And thank you for taking us through that exercise.
Yeah. Well, the other thing too about now, this is, these lawyers are getting grants from the government to provide the work. It's not in addition to the pro bono work.
Yes.
So that's what's cool about this. So here's the number. Anybody looking, need that kind of help. There's the number 677-1116. That's what I called. And the database is good too. You can go to that database online and find out all kinds of free stuff for seniors that are out there. And a lot of this, like, that's not income. See, what bothers me is that that's not income eligible. You know.
Okay.
So you got millionaire seniors.
Who can be calling into eldercare.gov. Right.
Yes. Are doing.
That's good to know.
Exactly.
I plan to be a millionaire senior.
Right.
Ride me to the golf course, huh?
Another thing, I had a guest hooked up today, and he bailed out on me at the end. It was from the put up the next slide, Eric. It from the Christian Science Monitor. The sucker. He said, "Yes, I want to go." And they had a great article. This is a full section, about 10 pages big, about 10 surprises for tomorrow's job market. I mean, that's what I'm trying to get people to think of. Hey, you got to keep one foot in the door, one foot out the door, and always look at where the waves are going, to catch that wave coming, because it's tough swimming upstream. So you want to know where the stuff's flowing. And this guy did a lot of good research. Some of it's old, some of it's new. Let's see the next slide, Eric, on this that he has. Eric. Oh, Eric's got headphones on. The next slide. There it is. Okay, the new jobs. I mean, this is, you want to know what's growing in our country. Okay, over the next 10 years, these are the fastest growing jobs. This is called the Bureau of Labor Statistics. So if you're in healthcare, that's 750,000 new. Now, this isn't just jobs. These are new positions that are going to happen. Retail sales. Everybody thinks, because of everybody's going to buy on the internet. Bureau of Labor Statistics don't believe. Retail sales is going to be big. Home health care aid, college teachers. I mean, that's amazing to me that we're going to.
Well, I'm a college professor at Georgetown, so I'm happy with that.
Oh, really? You're at Georgetown? Maybe you got my boy. And elementary school teachers. So teaching, I think a lot of the elementary, we have these baby boomers like me retiring and losing things. So that's why keep an eye on those kinds of statistics. Next one, Eric. Now, routine jobs are going down. Now, that sort of makes sense, because of factory workers, things like that. It's down like 25%, over the next, from 81 to 11. So the total amount of jobs that are routine, just doing the same stuff over and over again. Now we have an app for that.
Right.
So you don't have to do that anymore. You get the next slide there. Yeah. Where's the next slide? Factory. Boy, it looked like the last one to me. I mean, I don't know about you, but you read the headlines about factories. The factory sales are going up. Exports are going up. We're exporting more stuff around the world now and all that kind of stuff. But the actual jobs are going down.
Well, they have more robots.
Right, exactly. So
yes, I just saw a thing on CNN talking about Detroit, completely almost bankrupt.
Yeah, it's like half of what it was.
It's like 40 years ago, they was like the number one cities to live and work.
And I was a young man. I was your age then.
And right now,
I remember that.
There's no jobs there, and so they basically downsizing everything to try to bring jobs back, because there's so much space there from all these big plants and everything. So now they're trying to bring more companies back there from all over.
And that's really an opportunity in a way if you're a small
business. It is an
business.
opportunity.
Yeah.
Yep. Not only for small businesses, but for people that want to become landowners, want to become homeowners, they can go in and they can invest in Detroit at a very moderate rate. A moderate rate right now.
Good deals, I'm sure, in real estate.
A lot of good deals.
There, right?
A lot of good deals.
And a lot of people they're tearing down houses and putting farms in the.
Right. I've seen some of that. Some of the urban farming has taken hold in Detroit. I don't know how that works in the wintertime.
Right.
I heard that it's pretty cold in the winter.
Right. Yes. There must be winter plants or something. Christmas trees you grow. And next one, Eric. Now this is about I'm sure everybody here at the table believes in education. I do, but you have to be careful. I mean, like here, a loan officer requires only a high school education, and makes about $56,000 a year. Your credit counselor needs a college education and only makes about $38,000 a year. So every position, just because you have a higher
it's not guaranteed.
Yeah, exactly.
And that's the profit of money now, especially in the IT field, that you get an 18-year-old and don't want to go to college. He can get into college and go to college, but if he gets some trade schooling, plumber, electrician, or IT field, they can they're going to make more money than your average 4-year, 8-year college students. By the time someone go to school for 8 years, and I've already worked on a job and I got all of my certifications, they'll never catch up to me. They'll never catch up to me. So those are some of the things. Yes, college, we must go to college, get that degree, but some kids, we got to open up another opportunity for them.
No, I believe that.
Like this.
I've always been a fan of trade school education, even though, I have an undergraduate degree from Texas Christian University, a graduate degree from Florida A&M University, a law degree from Florida State. But let's be clear. If you have the desire to go to trade school, I support that 100%.
Oh, absolutely.
Because at the end of the day, you want to get the best education you can for the least amount of debt that you incur.
Absolutely.
And if trade school is going to help you do that, then I agree with that 100%.
Oh, not only trade school, man, I just believe in the community college system.
The community college system, I'm a huge fan of the
That's the
community
best deal
college
we
system.
got in this country.
That's it, the community college system.
And they finally realized that in D.C., turning UDC and a community college and a 4-year. It took 700 years.
I know, I remember. I was one of the first professors there.
Yes.
Yeah, wow.
But they finally turned it down.
Way back. Next slide, Eric.
Yes.
Yeah, no, I believe in that. Oh, that's it. Here, green jobs. Oh, this article is interesting because you said how people are funny messing with the numbers. I believe in green and things like that. It seems like we don't do that. Yeah, we're really screwed in the long run. But people messing with how many real new jobs there are in the green that are green. They're reclassifying old jobs and calling them green and stuff like that. And now the data is it could be 4 million or 100,000.
A little bit of gap between those two numbers.
I know, that's right. So you got to be careful with it. And talk about green. I mean, the energy. I mean, you're talking about a company now has 1,000 employees down in Houston. It's going to give every employee a $100,000 bonus. Every employee.
Which company is this?
They need a lawyer.
I'm on my way.
Yeah, and do they need any legal representation?
Hillcorp. Yeah, and it's energy, and the fracking. I mean, we are going to produce more energy than Saudi Arabia in the next couple of years. I mean, it's just crazy. That's why we got one say everybody's going green, and the other thing here. Now this is a study that this guy talks about too, where they estimate. That should be 2020, not 2002. In 2020, 1.3 million.
Wow.
New records.
New workers by 2020. Wow.
And nurses is only 700,000.
Wow. Well, I guess that means that we're going to be using a lot of energy to get these nurses back up to work.
Yeah, I mean, it's just funny. I tell you, data's important, but people throw around facts like, who the heck knows what really? So if you're making a decision about something, make sure you get behind the facts and know the if, ands, or buts. Eric, the next slide. I think I got one more on this thing. And then going to show you a little bit about what your president is doing, or our president, right? Everyone says if it's not my guy, it's offbeat jobs. That's another nice thing with the growth of the economy and stuff. Man, one of the biggest growing jobs is non-farm animal caretaker. Maybe you can do that downtown Detroit.
Yeah, maybe on those new farms that you put in the middle of Detroit, you could become a non-farm animal caretaker.
Well, you were a jock, right?
Yeah, I did play football.
Yes.
So that's another big growth area is being a professional athlete, coach, umpire, stuff like that. Next one, Eric. Hi, take care. Okay, now there's two great sources I think in the government for helping you with careers. Choosing careers, getting help, training. You're talking about technical skills. You want to go 6 months to learn to get a certification or something like that. Mm-hmm. Well, Department of Labor has that kind of money. You get up to $6-8 grand, and that's just 10 grand to become a massage therapist or a technical thing, or get a green job. And the servicelocator.org. Go there. You put in your zip code. And it shows you the offices, where you live. You contact them, ask them they'll help you with the resume. They'll help you train for a job. You have a business, you're trying to lay off 10 people. They come out and help the people you're laying off find new work anywhere. You can call them up, and they'll come into your business and help them fill out everything for the benefits and help them look for jobs and all that for free. Wow. There's companies around that pay a lot of money, charge a lot of money to do that.
Servicelocator.org.
Yeah, but they'll do that for free. Now here's the next thing too. I mean, we talked about earlier all of us here about community colleges. Now, this is a website you can go and find your local community college. Because if you're, if you are stuck at 45 years old, have nowhere to go, you go back to community college, get a nursing degree in 2 years.
And now you could be a part of that 750,000
Exactly,
people
right.
that need a job.
And making 50 grand. You know, don't have to be a barista.
Right.
And it's aacc.nche.edu. God, it's 5 up already. Yeah. We ran out of time.
Oh, wow.
Oh, my goodness. Well, you guys, let me show you the last still here I have with the Academy Award. No, I'm sorry. That's the next one. Right before the last video. Now, I see we have to go through. We don't have time for those. I talk too much. I didn't let these guys I know before that. Where's the Academy Awards store? My goodness. Well, anyway, for the Academy Awards, I lost it there somewhere. We don't have it. No, 31? 31 there? No, okay. Okay, let's just put 32 on. This is how to get grant money to make your movie. So next year, you'll be in the Academy Awards. Thank you so much for sharing your expertise,
thank you so much.
guys.
Thank you. Thank you for everything.
Thank you for having us.
And, thanks for helping everybody, and I hope I get you some calls. People want to copy what you guys do.
Hey, they can follow me on Twitter at Joe Briggs ESQ or at Team Impact.
Team Impact, and you?
And they can go to our website, projectgiveback.org, or follow us on PBG, Project Give Back on Twitter, and follow us on Facebook.
So websites don't mean anything anymore. See, I'm giving everybody a website. I'm an old guy. Okay.
The first time I got a grant for a movie, or even applied for a grant for a movie, was a 30-minute sort of West Texas ghost story called Hollow, and here in Austin, the Austin Film Society started this thing called the Texas Filmmakers Production Fund, which they started in 1996 as a way to give grant money to filmmakers. I applied with my 30-minute West Texas ghost story, which was going to be very expensive. And so I actually applied for 2 grants. I applied for the Texas Filmmakers Production Fund and this other grant called the Aperture Grant, which is given out by a photography magazine called Aperture, and they give out $10,000, but only to one short film a year. So I applied for both of those, didn't get the Aperture Grant, surprise, surprise, but I did get $2,000 from the TFPF, the Texas Filmmakers Production Fund, which of course wasn't enough to actually shoot the movie. And I figured I would use credit cards or get some money from my parents or something to try to make the movie. But I was in a really tough financial point in my life at that stage. So basically, what ended up happening is I spent the money on rent and didn't ever make that particular movie. But 3 years later, after I got a couple other jobs, I managed to save up that $2,000 back, put it into savings, and actually use that money to shoot a completely different short film, a short film called Pleasureland, which I did shoot on film, black and white. Ended up being about 18 minutes long. Shot that, used the $2,000 from TFPF, and then also some savings money, and got some money from my girlfriend's parents to make a film print of that. And so that short film ended up playing at about 25 or 30 film festivals around the country, and did pretty well, won a couple of awards. And since then I've said that, the Texas Filmmakers Production Fund gave me the grant money to make that short film, even though it wasn't to make that short film, it was to make another short film. But I essentially, 3 years later, used that money to make this short, and that did pretty well for a little short film. There wasn't any sort of restrictions really, because it was a very young program. It was only the second year they had done it. Since then, they have put some restrictions on it. Basically you sign a contract that says you are going to use the money for this project in these ways, and if you make any changes, significant changes to the project, or to to how you're going to spend it. You have to let the Film Society know. His idea has always been, we're funding the filmmaker, not the film. You know, the idea is that you're supporting an artist, not necessarily a specific piece of work. Although for this grant, you are required to submit a budget and a proposal and make it very, very specific. You know, down to the specific line item in the budget of what you're going to use this money for. But so there is flexibility there, but they try to, you know, make it so that the filmmakers really have to think about what they're doing and what they're asking for, and you know, be very specific, and you know, no one ever got mad at me for actually making a film, even though it wasn't the film. Still, I made a film, and it did well, and they even help me out with doing a screening of sort of as a local premiere of the movie.